Me? I depart. I actually started in HR for 6 months. Then I went to legislature. I worked for Dan Bickle. He,
Your son's Darren. welcome to tonight's Fort Wayne Community School Board of School Trustees meeting. We begin this meeting as we do each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we have roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Good evening, Antoinette Payne, District 4.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Noah Smith, District 3.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
And to my left, we have Dr. Mark Daniel, Superintendent, Fort Wayne Community Schools, and Angie Filler, Clerk of the Board, and I'm Maria Norman, Member at Large. This evening, we start with awards and recognitions. It is recommended that the board recognize Mark Markle, Adaptive Physical Education Teacher, for being named the 2024 Indiana Adaptive Physical Education Teacher of the Year. The Indiana Society for Health and Physical Educators, in SHAPE, recognizes excellence in teaching physical activity to individuals with disabilities. This award was presented to Mark at the InShape conference on Thursday, November 7th. He also received the same honor in 2015. His accomplishments on behalf of Indiana students are impressive, and his work inspires colleagues to strive for excellence. Mark Markle, please come forward so we may congratulate you.
Put it on your Christmas card. May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what adaptive PE looks like?
Yep, you can do the microphone, yep.
No speeches, so. Well, adapted PE is the modifications of activities and movements for individuals with physical and intellectual disabilities. And I guess there's several layers to my job. The kids, whenever possible, we try to put them into the gen ed physical education setting as their least restricted environment. But then I kind of have to assess the levels of individuals and see who or whom should not be in that environment, and then I have to work with an alternate setting for them. The government has mandated the importance of physical education for all kids, but they also mandate it for individuals with disabilities. They recognize the importance for them as well. So my role is kind of, I don't know, the person who makes some decisions regarding placement and working with the gen ed teachers with ideas and activities, and then working with some kids direct on my own for other populations of kids. Yeah.
What school are you at?
I have, I think, 20 schools, 18 to 20 schools. There's 2 of us that do the position, but we have the entire K through 12 Fort Wayne Community Schools. Not all schools require us, but there's a large population of kids in Fort Wayne Community Schools that need modifications to their PE lifestyle.
Thank you for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now we move to the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes from our regular board meeting on October 28th, vouchers and payroll, the personnel report, and required disclosures. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Steve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Dr. Daniel, did you have anything?
I do not.
No? Okay. Let's see where we're at. We have no old business, so we're at new business. The Secured School Safety Grant. It is recommended that the board approve the acceptance of the Indiana Department of Homeland Security 2024 Secured School Safety Grant for $81,000. The Secured School Safety Grant was created in 2013 to increase the safety of Hoosier schools. The program is a dedicated state grant fund that provides matching grants to school corporations, charter schools, or a coalition of school corporations. These funds will be used to support the continuation of the school resource officers at Fort Wayne Community Schools. Mike Manuel, Security Director, will be available to answer any questions. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Tony. Any questions for Mike?
Have we gotten any answer yet as to why the amount of because I understand this happened kind of throughout the state, why the grant is less than it was a year ago?
So back in August, they sent out communication to the districts letting us know that they were the amount of applications was $9 million over, and indicating whatever you asked for, you were going to get less. So that's the only that's the explanation that was given us. Of course, we put in for the entire 100K that we've been receiving at least since I've been here, and we got 81,000 with $19,000 less.
Thanks.
This was a heated conversation with our urban superintendent's meeting. Exact same question, and so it seems to be universal 81K as far as the amount, and may have heard a little bit about our future governor-elect might be interested in raising some of those funds, but we don't know what that means yet.
Mike, was there an explanation as to why it was 9 million over? I mean, were there school corporations that applied that had never applied before, or somebody didn't calculate something correctly?
I believe it was it last year or the year before when they opened it up to non-pubs and such, so that, yeah. So that
Thank
changed.
you for that clarification. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Mike. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, next up is the United Arts of Greater Fort Wayne Board appointment. It is recommended that the board reappoint Shanita Bolton, Executive Director of K-12 College and Career Readiness, to serve on the United Arts of Greater Fort Wayne Board. The Board of School Trustees of Fort Wayne Community Schools appoints one member to the Arts United of Greater Fort Wayne Board. Shanita Bolton has agreed to serve on this board for her second 3-year term, January 1, 2025, and ends December 31st, 2027. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Julie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. All right, and so that ends all of our new business, but this evening we do have a presentation, the Schools of Success update. An update of Schools of Success within Fort Wayne Community Schools will be presented along with a video. The following individuals will be presenting and are available to answer questions. Shanita Bolton, Executive Director of College and Career Readiness, Kendra Bowser, Coordinator of Human Capital Management, Lori Atkins, Southside Assistant Principal for Freshman School of Success, Denise Oakes, the Southside Freshman Team Lead and Teacher. And the floor is all yours. And we have, I know, Jackson. Is that Jackson? Yes? No? Dang it.
Miles.
Miles. Dang it. And Miles. Miles is a freshman, yes?
Yes.
Okay, at Southside. Awesome.
Well, good evening, President Norman, FWCS Board of Trustees, and Dr. Daniel. Tonight, we are here to share an update on the newly implemented Schools of Success powered by 3DE. As Fort Wayne, Indiana, and surrounding areas are building a nationally recognized and growing economy, Fort Wayne Community Schools wants to ensure all students are prepared for the ever-changing and expanding educational and workforce demands. Towards these ends, with Dr. Daniel's leadership, the district is taking a significant step towards enhancing educational outcomes for students pre-K through 12 by implementing the innovative Schools of Success.
Somebody want to go over quick? Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. In April 2022, more than 2,000 business community leaders, post-secondary institutions, parents, students, and educators assembled to take the first steps of engaging in a transformative process that will not only educate all FWCS students to high standards, but equip them with the 21st century skills needed for enrollment into college, employment into a viable career, enlistment into the armed forces, and entrepreneurship. This collective work led to 11 tactic teams being established to create action initiatives to move this work forward. The FWCS implementation team consists of the internal team leads who ensure each of the Schools of Success action initiative plans, fondly known as the AIPs, that were developed and now implemented effectively and efficiently. Next slide, please. FWCS, with its valuable stakeholders and partners, developed the why, or what we refer to as our North Star. This work cannot effectively be implemented without our regional partners. Together, we will empower all students to reach their potential through equitable and relevant community-connected experiences. All stakeholders collectively developed and revised documents that would ensure students are equipped with the necessary keys for success at each level. These include elementary, our portrait of an explorer, middle school, our portrait of a connector, and high school, our portrait of a graduate. This intentional collaborative work better ensures that students are prepared for real-world application of literacy, real-world application of numeracy, real-world application of digital literacy, and real-world application of financial literacy. Throughout the pre-K-12 experience, students will be developing and strengthening their creativity and innovation, critical and analytical thinking, cultural agility, engaging communication, effective collaboration, and self-direction. These 6 competencies will not only help them excel in school, but life after graduation. Every FWCS student will be connected through positive relationships, community connections, work-based learning, project-based learning, and leadership experiences. They will leave FWCS having experienced career and community exploration, career awareness, enrichment and planning, post-secondary exploration, and better prepared for enrollment, employment, enlistment, and entrepreneurship. Each high school offers 3 schools of success: health sciences and human services, manufacturing, engineering, technology and trades, and business and the arts. The Schools of Success is designed to engage students in meaningful learning experience and project-based learning, equipping them with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in college and career fields. At the heart of Schools of Success is a commitment to providing students with engaging and relevant learning opportunities, as well as developing transferable skills that can be utilized whether they go directly to college or into the workforce. This year, Fort Wayne Community Schools moved to Phase 4 on the Ford NGL roadmap, which is the implementation phase. This year, FWCS officially launched the Schools of Success. For current 9th graders, the Schools of Success introduces the Freshman Seminar course, a foundational element that encompasses multiple essential subjects. Students are delving into principles of business management, engaging in 3DE launch program, which takes and tackles real-world case challenges, and receiving an introduction to the 3 Schools of Success that I just mentioned. At the end of this first semester, Freshmen will complete the Schools of Success application, ranking their top schools of success and pathways. We anticipate that 95% of the students will receive their first choice. While the schools of success are consistent at each of our high schools, schools do have autonomy to offer different pathways. An example is as follows. Northside High School is offering biomed, education careers, and exercise science as pathways under the Health Science and Human Service Schools of Success, while Snyder is offering biomed, exercise science, education careers, and human and social service pathways. FWCS has also implemented guaranteed experiences at each grade level that are embedded in the curriculum. These experiences include field trips, career fairs, college fairs, guest speakers, junior achievement engagements, and much, much more. These equitable schools of success guaranteed experiences and engagement ensures all students now have access to college and career readiness opportunities. The Chief Systems Officer and his team will monitor the progress and success of our students utilizing several data points that will come in the near future and will provide updates to our internal and external stakeholders each year. Now, we will watch a brief video. After the video, Kendra Bowser, Coordinator of Human Capital Management, will share a little bit about Schools of Success, professional learning, and the teaming that is taking place in each of our high schools.
That one thing that we notice is that sometimes students in elementary, they often feel like decisions about higher ed or continuing their education past middle school, high school is far away. And so we try to remind them that their interests now are telling, the things that they like to do, the conversations that they like to have, the skills that they have, the skills that they choose to really practice and develop are going to help them with making those decisions, making the best decision for them so that they are able to contribute to society and our communities that we live in.
I could see what I'd be interested in because these activities, I get to learn more about certain jobs, and then after high school, I can study them and research them and see if they would be something I might want to do. When you do the hands-on, I feel like it sticks in my brain better because I'm actually doing it. But as if papers or just reading something, I feel like it just brushes off me and I don't really pay attention or I get distracted more easily. But when doing hands-on things, I feel like I'm more focused on one thing and it just sticks in my brain better.
Without 3D, I would not have a long-term project because 3D was the start to what my long-term project became to be. And because of that field trip to Parkview, I know that I wanted to work at Parkview now and build up my ranks so when I'm in college, I could also work at Parkview, and also when I graduate with a bachelor's in biology, I can start working to my PhD or pre-med.
I think it's incredibly valuable that students are being provided with the education, but also the experiences to explore many different careers. I just think about the third graders that I have now. They've seen pharmacists, they've talked to firemen, they've talked to police officers, they have researched about different natural disasters and how humans can help with those and acquire jobs if that is something that they're truly interested in. So not keeping it narrowed into this career makes this much money or this is what you should do, but really allowing them the space and the opportunities to figure out who they are, to figure out what they'll be best at doing and enjoy doing.
One of the beautiful things about teaching this class is we're developing those skills that they need not only to be successful in a classroom, but in a work environment, but just as people in general.
It was definitely really hard to transition from these, this older way of teaching. And because it was new, because it felt, alien, it felt unknown. But, gradually, it felt better because I was able to give my solutions and not their solutions.
So when developing that critical and analytical thinking in the classroom, we're really learning to teach them how to have some autonomy in their decision making and then back their ideas with research and evidence. One thing that we say in our classrooms, they're not allowed to ask me, is this good enough? They're only allowed to ask, how can I make this better? And so they're constantly developing their presentations. They're constantly learning new skill sets from kids around them. A lot of the problems that we work with are open-ended, so there's no ceiling on how far that they can go with it, which really helps them develop that creativity and innovation.
I think the power in Schools of Success is incredibly valuable. It's different. It requires a mind shift change, I believe, in us as educators, but I believe that what our students will get from it is incredible. They have the opportunity to do something different than what I did. I mean, traditionally, we weren't given those opportunities in elementary school to think about a career, think about what we wanted to be. We talked about, oh, when I grow up, I want to, but really being exposed and knowing the requirements and knowing how to obtain it, it doesn't seem far-fetched. It seems something that the students can work towards and be able to grab that for themselves.
Amazing to hear from our students and our teachers about what is going on, and shortly we're going to hear from a few more. But as a district, we are truly looking at all things through the lens of Schools of Success and all that we do to truly ensure that our students are prepared for that Monday after graduation, which cannot happen if professional learning is not taking place. This is a snapshot of the adult learning experiences that occur both off and on site. To ensure consistency within that professional learning, it's happening all along the way. We have embraced the train the trainer model, and it has been crucial in this work as school-based training teams have engaged in and they have facilitated personalized learning for each of their freshman teacher teams. Each high school was given 40 hours of paid PL hours this summer. The focused outcome of that time spent was teaming, and they were working to ensure solid team development in order to best serve our students within those small learning communities through the function of the 3 I's: identity, intervention, and interdisciplinary, with identity being the central focus. At the start of the school year, 3DE spent time with our teams to ensure knowledge around the case challenge process and student learning journey. We are in constant communication with JA 3DE, and they partner with all stakeholders consistently. Currently, job-embedded PL is occurring, which includes partnering with the Director of Secondary Education and district leaders to provide coaching and effective teaming feedback to ensure each of our 15 freshman Schools of Success have what they need. Additional professional learning consists of onboarding and orientation for our new employees and teachers, monthly district-wide leadership sessions, launch teacher training, and ongoing freshman School of Success collaborations. Looking ahead, we will continue our collaborative learning with 3DE and Ford NGL. They will actually be on site next week to provide us additional feedback that will support our North Star. We strongly, strongly believe in the saying, when you get teaming right, everything else is possible. Tonight, we have the opportunity to hear from one of our outstanding teams about how effective teaming is shaping their identity and function at Southside High School. To start, we will hear from Miles Clark, a freshman at Southside.
Hello, I'm Miles Clark, and I'm a part of Team Zyrath, or Team X, which is one of the 3 freshman class houses in the freshman class. This means that every week my teachers meet together to talk about every individual student. This includes my math teacher, science teacher, English teacher, the diverse learners teachers, and the freshman seminar teachers. The teachers usually only teach in their house, so it is personalized to each student, which means I am moving from class to class with the same teachers that are with the same students as me. So it's always the same. And then The teachers of Team X also meet up and create goals for the students, specifically an attendance goal. By spring of 2025, at least 68% of students will be engaged learners as measured by persistent attendance. One big change as a freshman going into high school has been the freshman seminar class and 3DE. We just finished our first case challenge on Sodexo and effective collaboration, and I was a finalist in the presentation to business professionals. What is a case challenge? Well, students are given a problem from a company, and in groups they collaborate to try and solve that problem for the company. They meet with the business professionals during the process of making the presentation, and then they present to those business professionals their idea or the solution to the problem. Well, my benefit was I learned effective collaboration and how to work together to create and solve the problem that is being handed to us, and I learned specific things that matter in business. So how has this affected me? Well, it has put me closer to my teachers and my classmates and improved my connection with them because I'm only with those people. On occasions where there have been occasions where the whole grade or specific classrooms come together to listen to a speaker or to collaborate on things, which helps you get to know other people and helps learn collaboration skills. It helps to know that it's the same rules with all of the teachers because they meet together and talk about what their rules will be. And as a freshman going into 9th grade, it's intimidating and hard to think of a new building with a whole new people that you don't know. And the Freshman Schools of Success has been very influential and important as I ease and get comfortable into high school for me. So thank you.
Good. Okay. I am Denise Oaks, and I am the team leader for Team X, and it has been a very rewarding year so far, and last year as we started the process. Each week we have a team meeting during our plan period, and we are very specific around team norms. We make sure that everyone is completely prepared for the meeting, professional, engaged, respectful, and responsible. And one of the things we really try to do is put our computers down, put our phones down, and be very present in the discussion. We made a team goal that always our objective is to improve student learning and to continue growing and developing as a team who is completely centered on focusing on what will get our kids to the next step. And so when we meet, we are very intentional about calling each other out if we need to get on board. And it's been a very healthy and safe space for all of us to feel that we have a voice. It is really important on our team that we keep everything positive and that we are constantly seeking solutions and being proactive rather than reactive. One of the things that Kendra mentioned, we've been very intentional on Team X. We try to build unity and healthy competition, and we have created a team chant. We have a song in selection right now. We're tallying up the votes for a team song. The kids are selecting a team motto. And one of the things we're really seeing is that we have a lot of school spirit and team spirit within. And I think one of the things I know as a teacher with the district for 31 years, that transition from 8th to 9th grade is very scary and overwhelming. And I would say that the majority of our students feel that they have a home and that they belong there. When they are absent, people notice, kids and adults alike. One of the advantages as a teacher, there are different points in the year, such as October, where education could be a little bit hard and we're tired and we're starting to see patterns. And so one of the things we have committed to doing is when someone is down, we lift each other up. When someone needs a little extra hand, we really have been mindful that, you know, there's family problems, there's death in the family. We're really trying to help create that system within our team as adults, knowing that happy teachers make for better teachers. And it's really, really been wonderful. One of the people on my team said I could mention this. His name is Ron Grameau. He is in his 46th year of education, and he is going to be turning 70 in a couple of weeks. And he has said to me so many times this year, this is working. What we are doing makes sense. Look at how far the kids have come since the beginning of the year. And I think that with our teaming concept and the kids having the exact same expectations has been incredibly satisfying as a teacher to see that the kids are improving. They are starting to learn the ways of high school. They are starting to know what exactly is expected. And so it's been really, really great. In our meetings, we have a facilitator, a timekeeper, a note keeper, and a backup note keeper. And it's been great because in my team, we have someone who loves keeping track of the time. It doesn't matter if we have 1,000 guests visiting us. She makes sure we stay on point, and that really has helped us stay away from negativity because we're just looking, let's figure this out, let's go come back with next steps, and we'll talk about it next time. And that's been very helpful. Every week we have shout-outs and celebrations, and we have an update for our diverse learners from Amy Grow, our diverse learning teacher. And we always then move into what support do we need as adults from our admin team or from one another, and what extra support or reminders do our kids need. That's been very helpful. Every time that we meet, our biggest time is around student data. And we do not talk specifically about situations, but rather patterns of success we are seeing. So if I am having difficulty with one of the students and that they are not producing the work that I would like to see, I will ask, what are you doing in your class to see success? And that's been incredibly helpful in getting the kids to be more successful. It's also great when we can talk about personalities among classes, areas for which to look, and also contacting parents. We have had a lot of opportunities to split up and divide and conquer with calling parents, and I feel like the parents have really been appreciative of all the work we have done. We always hear from Amanda McCoy, who is our 3DE school director. She is definitely a part of our school. She is a part of our team, and it has been incredible to see over time the kids getting to know her and making her a part of our Team X family. And then we end all of our meetings with a review of our pluses and deltas. And even though the last few times it's been hard to find negatives because we've been really going crazy with getting kids and their number of failures down, and our attendance has been great, we always try to think about ways that we could get better. And then finally, we go through our next steps, who is in charge of taking care of business. And I will say that this has been such an amazing opportunity as a teacher. People sometimes last year when I told them I was going back from teaching seniors and juniors to freshmen, they thought maybe I was making a mistake. But I will tell you, it has been such an amazing, positive experience. It's been a time where here at the end of my career, I felt more enthusiastic and empowered as a teacher than ever, and it really has been good for us all. All of this that we have created is something that we're very proud of, and it was done in a very intentional manner as a result of all of our training last year. And our leader of our School of Success, Lori Atkins, is going to talk to you about some of the things we did so that we could create that sense of community among our teams and with our students.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Atkins. I am the proud assistant principal at Southside High School in charge of the freshman Schools of Success. I don't like to call us a house. We're a family. We do things collaboratively. We win together. We have sad days together. But the key is we are together. So back when we first started this, Mr. Harrell came to me and said, Atkins, you're going to be the head of the Schools of Success. I'm like, let's do it. So we had to talk about how we were going to have our teams and our families set up. So we wanted a math, an English, a science, a freshman Schools of Success, an ELL teacher, and a teacher for diverse learners, because that represents every population in our school in every house. But we didn't know exactly what we were doing yet. So we went to training. We spent 3 days in Indianapolis. We had a cohort from Southside, Ms. Oakes and I, Mr. Harrell, and our freshman counselor, Liz Lindsay, spent 3 of the absolute best training days of my adult professional career learning how to be a team. We came back and we started putting our teams and our families together. And these were people anywhere from 47 years of experience of education to kids right out of college. So we had everything under the sun that you can imagine, but we were going to make it work. So what did we do? We spent about 35 hours that we were given. We have 5 more to go. We spent those 35 hours learning how to be a team. Because just saying you're a team does not make you a team. You have to learn how to work collaboratively and see the big picture. We all have to be on that same path for this teamwork to show that it's a productive way. So what did we do? We met about 8 different times. Never in my life in professional learning have I had teachers who were fighting to see who could get there first. Okay? They would be on each other. Hurry up, hurry up. We don't want to be last. We don't want to be last. Things that came out of it, people who do not normally collaborate in a building because we usually departmentalize everything. We were looking at the child holistically instead of just through a math lens, just through an English lens, or through a science lens. So we learned how to work with one another. There were a lot of laughing. There's a lot of soul searching. There was a lot of times when we came together and we didn't agree. But that's okay. That's part of the learning process for every team. They sat and they developed a group norms. What's going to be acceptable in the Freshman School of Success? What is our goal? What is our mission? What is our vision? Mr. Harrell was working with the district, and we were looking for someone to be the sponsors of our houses. We have Zyrath Insurance, we have New Wave, and we have the Bill Blass Foundation. These are all distinguished alumni from Southside High School who wanted to give back to the school that gave them so much and helped them get their start. Other things that we did include, all of our teams, our families have that ELL piece. We have so many students who are brand new to the country that need that extra bit of attention from a teacher, and in a smaller setting, they're going to be more successful. We also included a diverse learner teacher because they have skills and they have the ability to help us and help others understand that diverse learner in the classroom. We also had group conferencing. You guys have probably never been to a conference for your child where all of the teachers were in one spot and you met as a group to collaboratively find a path that's going to work for your child. When 5 people are on board for your child and they are willing to sit and work with you on finding avenues of success, that's a powerful statement. Other things that we have done at Southside, they built a team resume. Each one of the families had built a resume. We had some that had over 100 years of experience just on their team alone. They did a SWOT analysis. What are we good at? What do we need some work with? What are opportunities we're not seizing? And what are the threats? How can we make this better? They determined their roles inside their groups, because if you're not comfortable with a role, you're not going to be successful at it. So we let them determine. We gave them group autonomy. They could decide who was best at each specific job. We also acknowledged each other's differences. We all had different things that we were bringing to the table, and everyone had a voice in what was going to be happening within that family. But most importantly, they became a team. We took a group of strangers who happened to work in the same building and we turned them into a team or a family. And that is a powerful thing when it comes to educating your student. And the thing that I would like to share with you are the results. This is the exciting part. Freshmen at Southside High School have the highest attendance in the building at 93.3%. Freshmen have the lowest amount of tardies in the building. We have a team approach to students of concern. We call them struggling learners. Maybe we will have someone that is not doing well for one teacher. Maybe there might be a strategy that we can employ across the team or the family to help that one student. We had, let me see, here's my favorite. We had a 13% reduction in disciplinary infractions. The students have a sense of identity and belonging. Each one of them can tell you, I belong to X, I belong to Blast, I belong to New Wave. So that's been an extremely motivational thing for all of our families. I'd like to share some thoughts from our students. This one comes from Trey Reynolds. The School of Success helps everyone have more of a family-like relationship, and it helps people become closer. I like it because it allows me to have more classes with my friends, and it creates us as one team. It gives you the chance to know and collaborate with people. Expectations are very clear. That's from Delana Cartwright. It's helped me understand all the expectations. It has helped me connect with others and understanding our differences. It has helped other people who are struggling, as it is harder to fail. That's from Mackenzie Hightower. And I feel like I wouldn't have made friends with the people if I did not become part of the Schools of Success. I would be behind in my classes without these wonderful teachers. And that's from Gianni Morales. It has been an instrument of change at Southside High School in our academics and in our culture. Professionally, it's one of the best steps that I have ever made. We welcome you to our school. We would love for you to come in and see what we do on a daily basis. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
How exciting. The same type of teaming is taking place at all 5 of our high schools for Freshman School of Success, and we just completed some 10 through 12 training. We'll be doing more of that this next semester. They also will have designated professional learning hours to be making themselves prepared for the next level. So if there's any questions at this time, we'll be glad to take them.
Well, thank you for that presentation. It's great to hear from you all and hear such positive things. I know that we have all called this experiment sort of a leap of faith. So it is it's good to see it come to fruition and have it be successful. I did have a couple of questions with regard to the application for the specific sort of pathway that the student will move on to. What does that application look like?
Sure. So the application consists, of course, of students making their selection. They have 3 choices. They can select 2 pathways within the same School of Success, but the third one must be in another area. The reason we're doing that is because we want to make sure there is balance between the houses and pathways in regards to, just as you heard, the teaming aspect, and particularly as we have counselors working with those students, we don't want to have an inequity. The other components are some short questions for our students because we really want to know their past experiences and also what is drawing them to this particular School of Success. It may be an interest that they've had all their life. It may be because that they have been alongside an aunt or uncle on their job, whatever that may be. Last but not least, this is also a different way as we are thinking about counseling, because no longer are we just saying, what are the courses you'd like to take, signing off. We really want to engage deeper with our students to really talk about their strengths, their weaknesses, and their interest. And so collectively with the application process, as well as the conferencing and the communications that will take place with the assistant principals and the counselors, then decisions will be made as the allocations take place for those.
Okay.
What are we doing if we have one area that has more interest than others?
So that is why they have their ranking of their top 3. We did a pre-survey of those students' interest, and surprising enough, at all of our high schools, it's pretty balanced. And so unless that shifts significantly, we don't anticipate that there will be much of a shift. If we get to that point that there is an area or pathway that students are more interested in, then they will move to their second choice.
You mentioned that the individual schools can make choices and stuff like that, like you talked about the differences between, I think, Wayne and Snyder, for example. If students want to make different decisions within that, like to go get a college course on their own, are those things being allowed, or is that?
Say more, Mr. Smith, when you say getting a college course on their
So say I
own.
got a junior that wants to take a college class at PFW or Ivy Tech that fits within, kind of
Within their
let's say,
schedule.
that we can't.
Absolutely, and we do that already now. So students can not only take dual credit courses at their high school, but we have students that do dual enrollment on the college campus. And yes, they will still have that opportunity to do so.
So I would add, this is freshman only right now, and every year this will start to move up. So this affords us the time to create these college pathways as well with dual credit and that arrangement of, so students can truly, and that is one of our goals. We'd love to see 15 dual credit hours for each and every student on average. We'd love to see some students, as we've seen at Wayne High School. I believe we have 25 students that actually finished Wayne High School with an associate's degree last year. But we are seeing exponential growth in our dual credit courses. We're very fortunate. Gear Up Dollars supported that. With the costs, we have to figure that out. But my takeaway is, and when I heard from the teachers and administrators, this is always in constant review. How do we improve this? How do we make this better? And there are going to be things that we're going to have to adjust, which I am so thrilled to hear. It's teacher input, it's principal input, student input, eventually, how do we gather other members? I see some parent input. And we're working hard to, even as we look at our current, as they go through this process of selecting their schools of success, how do we bounce that application process off some teacher groups as well, some parent groups as well, so they can gather, oh, that worked well, that didn't work well. We just heard the presentation this morning, and Laura did a great job this morning in our district. We had leadership this morning. And hearing it for the first time in our team meeting, SOS team meeting, it was, oh, this is coming together. Again, freshmen, next year, how do you start to line up the dual credits? Eventually, it has to get down into the middle school, because if I'm an 8th grader, I'll just use engineering for instance, I better know that I need high-level math. That means I better be taking high-level math 8th grade. I have to start there. So if I'm going to reach calculus, unless I highly motivated and take summer school, do that sort of thing. But again, this is, I'll just say, the planning has been phenomenal. The amount of professional learning and what you received out of that professional learning, I think you said it best. This is probably the best PL I've ever had. And I think the reason is, my takeaway is, it's because they've applied it. They've used it. Instead of, I receive it, that's a good thing, yeah, but I haven't been able to apply it. I'm hearing, cooperative learning, I'm hearing all those things that we've done in the past, but it's coming together, and it's like, wow, into a teaming that is functional. So, very, very powerful, and I just wanted to clarify. Of course, I said a lot more than just that, but I wanted to clarify, yes, this is the beginning of how do you create those sequence of courses. We are very interested in joining, and Noah's been very helpful with this, joining our post-secondary partners What does that mean for our post-secondary institutions? I'm talking community college, I'm talking four-year degree colleges. How are they going to wrap their arms around us and support our kids? Because if I'm mom here and I see Miles, I would love to see Miles with 30 dual credits or more, because that's an economic driver for our parents, but also for our greater community. Because how many of our students stay within Northeast Indiana? I will say over 75% of our kids stay here. So it's an economic driver, of which, coming out of the recent election, we better talk economics, we better talk return on investment, we better talk that way. And I know that you've been working on, we've been talking about how do we become performance-based outcome, even how do we start to talk that way with the governor, with our, should we say, our budget makers at the state level, because I used that, what you sent this morning to me for the leadership. And when you have our future president of the United States saying these are the 10 things we're going to do with education, many of those things are already happening in Indiana. Don't think they're going to go away. But how do we embrace it and use it to our advantage, because we are already so, by the time 2028 rolls around, I will almost bet a lot of money, Miles, that hearing you speak right now as a freshman, you're going to be an unbelievable graduate as a senior. I think you're going to have probably over 30 credit hours going into dual credit, and you'll be very, very intentional what you're going to do when you graduate. But move that to all of our kids. And I say that, when I say all kids, I mean kids with disabilities, I mean kids with special needs, I mean kids, it doesn't matter whether you're the highest GPA or the lowest GPA. Every student, that's what's so unique about this, and you said it too, it's equitable. It's about equity across the board. It's not just the top 25%. It's about every single student. That's what's amazing. And we've all been to AMP Lab, and we've seen AMP Lab in action, and one thing, the takeaway from AMP Lab has been, you didn't even know who the students were. I mean, the level of student, the range of student, and that's been amazing to see in that environment. Wow, now we're going to start to see it on the grand scale. So we could talk for a long time about this, but go ahead. I'd like to have more questions.
Miles, thank you for coming.
These are the experts.
Miles, thank you for coming. What do you want to be when you grow up as of now?
Right now, I want to be a paid soccer player, but that's the dream, yeah.
That's a dream. I love it.
Watch out Ronaldo, huh?
What'd you say?
Watch out Messi, watch out Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch out.
Dr. Dino mentioned input and how we get better. What would you suggest on that? How, I know it's only been 4 months or so, 3 months. What do you see as how the program could get better to help you?
I would say, like, I don't know how to, I can't think of anything right now because I feel like it's going pretty well, but yeah, I can't think of anything.
Is there something you don't like about the program?
I can't think of anything now.
You know what I heard the first year at Northside was that they were always with the same people.
Yeah.
And then also having to work with people. And then we would sit there and say, well, this is real life. Sometimes you have to collaborate with people that maybe you weren't planning on collaborating with.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you mind real quick, and I'll shut up and let others ask. Tell us a little bit about your Sodexo project and what you guys did there.
Yeah, so Sodexo, we had Sodexo professionals come into our media center, and we had our groups go and talk to those professionals, and it was about it's called a talent pipeline, so helping build a talent pipeline for Sodexo. So it was you were supposed to give nonprofit local organizations, you're supposed to give those as solutions to Sodexo. And so we had to just come up with ideas and then present that main idea and what we thought was the best idea for Sodexo to them and give them reasons why and stuff like that.
What did you think of that experience?
Oh, it was really good. I liked it a lot. It was fun to collaborate with others and then get actually be able to speak with the people who are at the level that we're talking about, instead of just making it like hypothetical, and it was actually kind of like real life, and we were in it like that. You know?
That's so cool, I think, about, and I'll shut up again, I said that earlier, but the opportunity you guys are getting, you know, we got our friend Renee from Sodexo in here. I don't know if she was there, but she manages a huge group of people here on behalf of Sodexo and Fort Wayne Community Schools. And I was recently able to go to a Taylor Swift concert, and at the suite, they were served by Sodexo. So they're a huge international company. And the other part is, I think you'll get Arby's.
Yeah, I think that's one of the next couple.
I was really involved with that with the first year on North Side, and they have all the managers and the general managers and the regional managers come, and one of the Northside kids said, "You don't want our opinion, do you?" And like, yes, we do.
Yeah.
And I think Northside team last year won it. So take advantage of those opportunities. Those are phenomenal opportunities.
Yeah.
And even though Ms. Oak said she's been teaching 31 years, and I know she looks like 29, she was that way when we were 6 years old too, about making sure you guys are doing all right. She was looking after me that way too. So.
So Miles, I just learned last week that I'm going to be around when you graduate, and so we just need to make a mental note to invite you back in May of 2028 to see how this program is done. I had a couple of questions about the program. I want to make sure I understand this. Is Schools of Success part of the 3DE program?
I think it's...
ask Shanita. Is this part of 3DE?
So Schools of Success is actually, we say Schools of Success powered by 3DE.
Okay.
So we've been very intentionally, as we started this work, to meet regularly with junior achievement. They are actually now, even with their case challenges, making sure that the majority of those are focused on each of our Schools of Success.
So there are indicators for what a successful school looks like. So what are they? A school will be successful if, and what is the rest of that sentence?
So there will be some indicators. I'm going to tell you from where we've started, my takeaways with that. Things that we already look at, of course, with, and we were mentioned earlier, with our grades, attendance, tardiness. But what it will really look like is every student that leaves Fort Wayne Community Schools will fall into one of our 4 E's. And that is
have we established those benchmarks, and will we know if we meet or exceed them?
Great question. So Jack Bird, our Chief Systems Officer, and his team are working on that right now. So those benchmarks, along with Dr. Daniel, as he mentioned, with the number of dual credits that students will be taking, will be some of those benchmarks we'll look at. And you'll hear about those each year after this first year.
I just want to give you some feedback about what I heard this evening, and it sounds very interesting and exciting. But to use a sports analogy, it sounds like we're at spring training right now. And I'd like to know when we're going to start playing baseball.
Yeah.
When are we going to start playing baseball? Would you like to respond to that? Okay, thank you. I'll respond, but go ahead. So I would say we are almost on the other side of spring training.
Okay.
So we have right now where, as you know, our freshman Schools of Success has been implemented. We also have K through 12, where we have our guaranteed experiences, which is part of that spring training, getting everyone acclimated. We really, as we enter into this next semester, we really are full-fledged. And I say that because at that point, 10 through 12, training will take place fully. And one of the things that we are doing, not just at our schools, but really making sure that we're doing professional learning with HCM so that every department, every office across this district is looking and working through the lens of Schools of Success.
So would you please come back before the end of the school year? And I'd just like to know where we're at.
I'll be glad to do that.
So we had a visit to Norfolk, Virginia. They've been doing this for about 9 years. This is their
8th year.
8th year, but they've had a couple years of also planning. So they were some of the metrics that were driving them. Look at your graduation rate, look at your dropout rate, look at your attendance rates. What are you doing in regards to the number of dual credits that they were connecting kids to? How many associate degrees were being produced? They are now starting to look at their pre-K through 8th grade. We started pre-K through 12th grade because we believe experiences also need to be part of our metric system. Because we're promising families, parents, we're promising experiences. We are light years ahead of more than most of the other groups because of our Powered by 3DE. JA connected our business. They were the ones who were able to facilitate the business connections, but doing so in a different way than JA has done in the past. JA traditionally, we're going to have that person in the classroom, you're going to talk about business and wow, wow, wow. Instead, it's, no, here's a real challenge, here's a real world challenge. So, folks, now you're bringing the businesses in to mentor and to give, hey, I can give you advice, but it's been prepped by JA. It's, that relationship doesn't exist anyplace else. So that has jump-started us, and you asked about using the baseball analogy. Yeah. I will say that we are now starting to see our freshman teachers, they are the ones who just went from minor league to major league. We are still training the other core teachers to move from single A, double A, triple A into, finally, into the majors. That will be a sequence of events because to do it on this scale, it has to be very, very well planned out. It's something, that's another thing that's separated us because Ford NGL has created the blueprint that we now personalize. No one, again, I said, no one across the country is using JA 3DE like we're utilizing that connection. But you can start to, and there is a little bit of a segue here as well. When you start to say, what are the metrics, now, how do we ensure that Schools of Success is being implemented? That comes from principal leadership. And now you start asking that question as well. How are our principals being empowered to inspire, building trust and inspiring? And right now, I heard a lot of inspiration. Now, how does that continue to carry over? And then how do we recognize our building principals in a very different evaluation system? So that's what we're also shifting to. And you asked, when's that? And you should also ask that, when's that? That's January, the 1st of this January. We're going to have a new chief principal evaluation to drive these metrics. I haven't said academics yet, but academics are also here. What are we doing to reduce Fs? They are doing something to reduce Fs. That's very, very important. What are we doing to improve attendance, intentionally improve attendance? What are we doing about that? Those things haven't been, yeah, we have now a law that says we'll do this. That law hasn't enabled us to improve attendance. It's the relationships that's happening in this team that's increasing. That will be over time. So I'm very, should I say, I can't wait till 2028 because I think our graduates are going to be very, very different. There's also some other pieces. We've talked about return on investment with our businesses. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to have to go after other revenue streams that are non-traditional, i.e., where's the business plan for not just Fort Wayne Community Schools, but our businesses that are connected with us? How do we grow a local economy in an economy in Northeast Indiana? And this is what we continuously hear. It's not about businesses coming to Fort Wayne. It's about, is there a workforce that draws businesses to Fort Wayne? We have to be that return on investment. We have to be able to say that and document it. So here's another piece. If I look at the number of students that are coming through the Career Center that have contracts with businesses for employment, I think we've gone from 25 to 30 up to about 45 to 70. Last year it was over 130. That's exponential in growth. That needs to continue. Plus you also have to have credentialing. That's the pathway piece. Measure that. Are we seeing that continue to grow? Now, we all believe you need further education beyond high school. No one disagrees with that. Whether you're going into a business, into an employment, or you're going into post-secondary training or going to, doesn't matter. You're going to be a continuous learner. So How do we measure that? And quite frankly, do our kids really have a meaningful future plan upon graduation? And how are we going to measure that one? You're not going to know that until 2028 in real time, in truly the impact of this program. So those are the metrics that right now are on the whiteboard, and we're starting to gather that data, because I can't go out and ask for, let's just say, $500 million foundation funding if I don't have metrics to support.
Yeah, this is important work. And what I heard that I also liked was the comment of creating a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And you didn't use the word, but it's really changing the culture, where there's another reason why I want to go to school, because it's a nice place to be. And it's really the same thing that business struggles with these days, even more so after COVID, of making work, and in this sense, school, a neat place to be. It's got to happen. And the opportunity, from my perspective, is what Questa and the Wood Foundation talked about, I think, last week, is that we need to churn out more four-year college graduates.
Yep.
And we need to start, passing along that word that over the next 5 years, our businesses in Northeast Indiana need 5,000 additional four-year graduates. The opportunity is there. So.
But intentional dual credits.
Yes.
With specific outcomes, not random dual credits, which we're notorious as a state with random dual credits.
Absolutely.
If I can address for a moment. One of the fantastic things that has come from this is the community involvement that we have gotten from industries and businesses in our area. And I'm going to give you an example. On December the 3rd, I'll be taking 411 freshmen to Parkview Field. Hagerman Construction called and asked, what can we do to help you? These kids are going to be presenting in the boardroom at Parkview Field. They're going to be having lunch in the suites, and they're going to learn all about the construction and sports industries while they're there. But they're not the only ones. We get calls at least once a week, how can I partner with you? I'd love to have your kids come and look at my business. So we are building that community with our students, with our parents, and with our industries, so that kids want to stay in Northeast Indiana, and we can support them by giving them the educational foundation that they need for that success.
What is that date?
December the 3rd. So you guys are welcome. I had to get on the baseball analogy with you guys. We're really going to go. 411 freshmen are going to Parkview Field that day, so expect pictures, and it's going to be a great day. A lot of our kids have never been there.
Do you have a running list of people who contacted you?
Yeah, we do,
Do
actually.
you mind sharing that with Ms. Filler here?
I'll share it with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are super excited about having our community come in and say, hey, what can we do to help you? So I take that as a positive sign.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I do have a question with regard to, so this wonderful freshman team, you all are going to stay and have next year's freshmen. So then what is the progression for our current freshmen? Then will there be houses based on the pathways, or what does that look like in year 2?
Yes, so there will be houses based on their pathways and schools of success. And so the freshman year is the only where you have big transition moving from 9th to 10th. Once they get into their schools of success, they will have that same house and that same team with them until graduation.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you for all that you're doing. I worked in a high school as well for several years, and I know that the freshmen were always a struggle. I mean, people tried to create things to make the freshmen more successful, whether it was a school within a school or having a separate freshman academy, and these ideas. And I don't know if any of those were ever successful. So it sounds pretty optimistic that you've found that maybe that magic that'll make our freshmen successful, and like Steve said, want to go to school and want to stay there and feel more part of that culture and that community. So that's It's great to hear those things. And other comments that I heard, I think this might have been from the video, but the one teacher said, when students aren't allowed to say, is this good enough? But instead, how can I make this better? I love that. I wish I would have known that when I was a teacher. Yeah. That's a great one. And then I just was impressed with the parent-teacher conferences with the 5 caring adults with the 1 or 2 parents. I think that is really something to be proud of, and hope that continues.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. So I know you said there's 3 teams right now, and you guys are Team X or Zyra. And those are alumni that have somehow contributed to the they sponsor your program. So I'm wondering, how was that done? Did you have like application to sponsor, or did they just come forward?
We reached out with several of our past notable alumni. Bill Blass was our first one to jump on board. We did have his Congressional Medal of Honor ceremony today at school. Then we almost had too many people who wanted to be, which is not a bad problem to have. We will rotate them in and out. They did agree that they would spend quality time within their house as a mentorship. They would come and listen to presentations and provide coaching. And they want to be invested in the kids.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to leave you with one final note that I'm excited to share. Ford and GL has shared, both our coaches but also their CEO, that they do see that Fort Wayne Community Schools will be the premier district for this work because of the work that we're doing. And we were doing it much quicker than other districts have done. So we were excited to get that news from them. But that means we want to keep at the pace. I want the home run, Mr. Corona, the home run.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That then leads us to board member comments.
Well, I wanted to, first of all, thank the voters who reelected me to one final 4-year term on this board. On behalf of the citizens of this school district and city, I am honored to work alongside the best superintendent in the state and this amazing school board. Several thoughts on this day honoring our veterans. We did not always begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And along the way, I suggested that we do so. And about 15 years ago, I invited 2 veterans to this meeting to lead us in the pledge. Our guests were Ben Giaquina, who fought in World War II. He was 22 years of age, involved in the Battle of the Bulge, which was the largest and bloodiest battle of World War II with more than 8,600 American soldiers killed. Ben was joined by my son Vince, who served 5 years as a Ranger with the 82nd Airborne deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. He was wounded in battle, is a Purple Heart recipient. Can you imagine the audacity of somebody throwing a hand grenade at him in war? And this is the amazing part of him, his left toe doesn't work anymore, but he's an ultra marathon runner. Figure that. Vince is very fond of something written by General Omar Bradley, who was General of the Army and served as the first chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Bradley wrote the following: the infantry rifleman. The rifleman fights without promise of either reward or relief. Behind every river, there's another hill, and behind that hill, another river. After weeks or months in the line, only a wound can offer him the comfort of safety, shelter, and a bed. Those who are left to fight, fight on, evading death, but knowing that with each day of evasion, they have exhausted one more chance for survival. Sooner or later, unless victory comes, this chase must end on the litter or in the grave. And that was from General Omar Bradley. Thank you to every person who has served in the military. Thank you.
I will continue with that. Also wanting to thank those who have served, our faculty, staff, parents, community, my own family, my father and uncles, brothers who have, not brothers, sorry, uncles and cousins who have been in the service. But I also want to give just a thank you and shout out to Irwin Elementary. They had their Veterans Day program today, and I was invited to attend that. And if you haven't been, you should go. It's a really awesome program. They have breakfast for the veterans. They had my predecessor, Raleigh, was giving out makeup and lashes if you need them. Also, there was someone giving haircuts. There was breakfast, and then they did a service where they were giving gift bags to all of the veterans that had some really amazing gifts in them. And so just thank you, Casey Carr, who invited me from Irwin, and it was a really great program.
You know, I recall, and I'm sure you do too, Steve, that we took some criticism a number of years ago when we decided to attend school on Veterans Day. But Tony, your story in particular reminds us, I think, that how much more meaningful it is for our students to have a program like that, to host veterans, to hear their stories. I think it's a much more positive way and sincere way for our school system to honor our veterans. And those were going on probably at every school. So I think that's, you know, we're in the education business, and this is just another way to educate our students about veterans and the meaning of service.
I'll too thank the voters, misguided as they are, for putting me in here, and or misguided as I am, I don't know. Also appreciate the veterans in the service, particularly my father, Dave Smith, and my uncle, Carl Jordan, and anybody else I can think of or remember, and any of the staff and people of Fort Wayne. Thank you.
I have no comments this evening.
Dr. Daniel.
Again, to our board members that were recently elected, thank you for your service. We are very fortunate to have a board that we have in Fort Wayne Community Schools from the standpoint of, and I heard it, allowing us to take a risk and a leap of faith. That doesn't happen most places. So, but also I want to thank what's happening in our buildings and the leadership that we have at regards to Shanita Bolton and what she's leading the school success phenomenon as it moves forward. And quite frankly, as we discussed this morning in our leadership team's discussion, it is about culture. It is developing that team type spirit that, yeah, we're going to have some successes, we're going to have some failures, but it's always about get up, let's go, we're going to do this better next time. And you're hearing it now from even our kids. So tomorrow morning, I think we have United Front, so looking forward to that.